Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today, I have a 6v6 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxys map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 in the southwest, ending with Team 2 in the northeast. Starting off with Team 1's northern player, then working our way kind of, south and then east direction. We have it in orange together orange. Team 1's Nagel. He is a UEF and he is a 1500. To his south, we have in ruby red another UEF 15-1. It is Buttons. He is a 1700. He is tied with 3 players for the highest rated player on his team. To his east, we have one of those other 2 players. He is Blissful Noob in Amethyst Purple at the 1700 rating as a Cybran. In the southwestern corner here for Team 1 in Chevy Crimson is the Cybran play of Sanoman. He is a 1500, again in Chevy Crimson. In Glow in the Dark Green to the east, we have the Seraphim play of Kabanoff. He is a 1700. He is tied with Buttons and Blissful Noob as the highest rated player on his team. And he's playing as a Seraphim. And last but not least for Team 1, we have in Batman Gray, Active Backlash. He is an Aeon for this match as a 1300. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have 2 UEF, 2 Cybrans, 1 Aeon, 1 Seraphim, which means Team 1 has all of the factions represented on their side of the map. Starting out with Team 2 Southern player, then kind of doing the same kind of motion, but north and westwardly, we have in Snow White, Team 2 Sidon. He is a Cybran for this match as a 1300. And Stitch Blue to his north, we have the Aeon player of Will-O-Wisp. He is a 2000 rated player, the highest rated player on Team 2. And in the game overall to his west, it is in Barbie Pink, Cyzolan as an Aeon as a 1600. In northeast corner of the map here for Team 2 in Chevy Crimson, it is, sorry, not Chevy Crimson, in Forest Green, it is Pepe's as a Cybran. He is a 1400. In Light Oak 10 to his west, we have as a Seraphim Just Q as a 1500. And last but not least here for Team 2 on this western side, we have in Rust Mythologist as an Aeon as a 1400. So for Team 2 side of the map, they have 3 Aeons, 2 Cybrans, 1 Seraphim. Team 2 lacks UEF technology. And for 12 players on the map here, let's take a look at the reclaim situation we have for them to scoop up. Currently sitting at possibly one of the lowest I have ever seen in a very long time. It is less than 2,000 mass. Actually, it was probably about 1,500 or so roughly. So not really a lot of mass to scoop up. That's not even really worth mentioning at this point. It's not even 200 or so mass per player. Very slim pickings here for these teams. But taking a look at the mass point layouts here, taking a look at Team 2's side of the map today, there is a nice little, not to say Trimex, but nice little beast position down here. Trimex position next to that little pond over there in the corner. We have another Trimex position right here. Looks like it's going to go to Scion with a nice little, sorry, Cyzolan, not Scion, and he's going for that twin mechs there. Another Trimex position already grabbed up by Just Q, going for his twin mechs, and then there's another Trimex up here to the northwest. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4 Trimex positions, and then some mexes to grab. So not really a lot of mexes for everybody, but it's something, which is always better than nothing. It's probably about 8 to 10 kind of quick scan of the map average. So more than, of course, what they start with, but it's going to take a little bit to really get this game going, of course, in the mass income department, especially with the reclaim scenario not being super great. We have Team 1's player of Active Backlash going for a range upgrade. He's already finished his sensor package upgrade very, very quickly here in this game. So I think that's probably the first upgrade completed in the game so far. We do have Team 2's, not Cyzon, but Will-O-Wisp moving in to assist his teammate of Sidon to claim this section of the map. Unfortunately, there's really not that many mexes to grab. And there's a nice little choke point that they're going to have to get past. Team 1 can easily just hold up right back here where Active Backlash is and kind of just form a nice little kill box here. We do see Blissful Noob going for a speed range upgrade on board that commander. Maybe we'll try to distance build. Probably over here would be better. Get a little bit of distance between him and his opponent. In the middle of the map, some skirmishes rages on between Buttons and Team 2's is Just Q. And it's just kind of Team 1 unit scrambling over there. And then in the northwest, it's just a 1v1 between Nagel and Team 2's Mythologist. We do see that Team 2 over here to the middle does have 2 more commanders inbound. One from Pepe's and one from Saizawan. So a 3v1 advantage here for Team 2. And a 2v1 advantage in favor of Team 2 as well in this southeastern side. We do see a couple of units dropped off here for the southeastern edge. One for nice little naval factory, one for a little bit of a nice little beach hangout, or for some nasty little hover tech units are inbound to mess with that holiday. Couple of units pushing back active backlash. He doesn't want to be caught super unawares, though. He does have the range upgrade, of course, but he doesn't have the speed. He's not firing as fast as his opponent will be soon with that speed range upgrade going down for Sid. And again, it is a 2v1, so active backlash will be on the back foot for the most part in this game. Once that upgrade does finish, of course, this is what he can see. So he can easily see that his opponent is going for that upgrade. He is trying to move in, possibly trying to deny it. Unfortunately for him, that upgrade is done. And now Willow will start his upgrade as well. And now active backlash is, of course, the same range as Sidon, but unfortunately the speed is a 2v1 kind of scenario. So unfortunately, active backlash does not look long for this world. He's dropping decently quickly, and he does have some annoyances to his west, and that overcharge hooking right there kind of misses his target. Active backlash falling below 50%. He's going to die here. There's no hopes. Does look like Sidon's just going to walk him down, and that's going to be very early departure here for Team 1 and the game overall. Guns started here for Team 1's other players, that being Buttons and Cabanoff. He died. Cabin can't hold either two comms, says Blissful Noob, and there he goes. Team 1 suffers the first loss of the game, and that is due to Sidon just walking his opponent down, and is now a 6v5 in favor of the northeastern team of Team 2. And that gun range upgrade is almost done for Buttons and halfway done here for Kamenov. Gun speed range has been started for Just Q over here. So Guncom versus Guncom with non-upgraded commanders from both teams. We do see another commander down here, Blissful Noob. He could easily kind of swing northwestwardly over here. It does look like there are units moving in to cover his approach. Wall sections barring off entrance, at least for now, for Blissful Noob. And Saizawan does have his own gun upgrade as well. So soon 2 gun comms here for Team 2. Looks like nano repair has been canceled for Buttons, but he does, of course, finish that gun. And gun has been started here for Nagel in the northwest. Mythologist already done with his gun. And going for another upgrade, possibly for his speed. Yep, there it is. So now he has his speed and his range upgrades on board. Team 2's Will-O-Wisp moving forward with a sensor package upgrade. So getting a decent amount of intelligence here from this. Not really a lot, of course, in the area.
Commander under attack.
But at least he's aware of what's nearby. Essentially covering for Sidon, who is in the yellow, to be fair. He did suffer a chunk of hit point loss once that explosion happened from active backlash's commander. But again, no worries here. It's still 2 commanders. They're able to cover for one another, so no real danger for now. We do see that Blissful Noob is falling back. Same thing with Sanoman. Looks like he's falling back for the time being. We do see that the transport is inbound for Kavanaugh. He's going to drop not necessarily in front of the commanders, but at least in front of these units. And Team 2 is getting a nice little facility online. Again, past that little kill box here. They don't have to deal with trying to either take it or move through it. They've already moved through it and claimed it. And now we see that Will-O-Wisp has actually taken the southeastern corner for the most part. It does have a couple of T1 subs and frigates to deal with here. Actually, yeah, there is a sub in there. But no real issues so far. Kind of just a lazy day at the beach down there in the corner of the map. It does look like Team 2's Just Q is pushing back against Team 1. Pepe is holding position, just hanging out, looking at the roses or whatever. Buttons is in full retreat. Saizawan looking like he's going for another upgrade. Looks like he's going for his range upgrade. So all the Aeons going for their range and speed upgrade, besides at least one for each team. Okay, Willow doesn't have any sort of offensive capable, upgrades. Only really utility based. It isn't really defensive. It's just, hey, I can see stuff from further away. Kavanagh's PD is taken offline. Team 1 trying to be spammed up. Now we see Blissful Noob coming in to assist it and pushes forward as well. He's not back up to full HP, but he's, at least high yellows at this point. Kavanaugh again has gun in T2. Blissful Noob has gun. Sidon has gun. And Will-O-Wisp does not. We do see in the northwest Team 2's Mythologist just gets destroyed by Nagel, possibly from assisting T1 and T2 forces, and then more reinforcements are arriving. It is a 5v5. We have 5 comms here. Now we have Sandman moving into assist and dropping pretty low. He is now below 25% hit points, and he is going to die. He's going to come and hug all of his opponents, do as much AoE damage as possible, kills off the transport, and now we see Kavanaugh is going to try to pressure Will-O-Wisp and force him to retreat. With 3 commanders over here, that might just be a double kill here shortly. It is now a 4v5 in favor of the southern team of Team 1. It was a 6v5. Now it is a 4v5 with Team 1 securing 2 kills. We do see a lot of Team 1 units having at it between these nice little plateau and little mountain there. Looks like it's going to favor Team 1's Blissful Noob. And now we see that Nagel continuing to push in and now essentially locking out Team 2's now just Q from this trimix position that's in that northwest. So Team 2 has the southeastern corner. Team 1's about to have the northwestern corner. Mechs count definitely, I mean, it's pretty close. 3 mechs, 3 mechs, 3 mechs, 3 mechs. That's 12. 3, 3, 3, 3. So a little bit more in favor of Team 1, but ever so slightly in favor. We do see that Kavanagh's just going for some more mexes. Get his eco nice and squared away. Blissful Noob and Sandman continuing to pressure again. Sandman doesn't have any upgrades, but is just coming in to just secure this avenue. Will-O-Wisp is in full retreat. Of course, he still can see his opponents. You can see both of them, in fact. And it might just be he turns right and calls it a day. What are these 12-minute P-gens from the air players? It says sit in. What? What is he talking about? Oh, T3 P-gens is what he's talking about. Team 1 also has a T3 P-gen online. So both air players in this game have T3 P-gens and going to establish themselves in the air departments. Couple of units inbound here. Still from Nagel pressuring this position now for Just Q. That once belonged to his teammate of Mythologist. You see that Nagel is still kind of hanging out and holding position there for the time being. And yes, Will-O-Wisp has left and has now gone through this little kill box over here and is just retreating. He does not want to get caught and die. I don't blame him for that. I wouldn't want to either. We do see, again, forces still stacking up here right next to Pepe's. Pepe's assisting Just Q with an upgrade. Possibly Nano, possibly Regen would be one of the other. Yep, it is Nano. And maybe he'll go for the or Regen. Maybe he won't. Maybe he'll just hang out. Blissful Noob saying expect drops from on the southern side of here, and it does look like Team 2 has secured this lower section of the map here with the pond and the nice little island peninsula, whatever nonsense this is called. And of course the cliff edge is kind of a heated moment right now. PD does finish. We'll shoo away these blazes. I don't think those mixes are going to be active for long, but at least they'll be denied, at least in Team 2's mindset, against Team 1, which is better than nothing. AFS holding position over Pepe's, excuse me, holding position over Willow's commander with his ASFs. There we go. That's the correct word for that. Willow going for a shield upgrade. Willow, big issue, says sit in. And then talking about a bunch of stuff going on. Pepe's just making comments about why not you can't snipe, says sit in. Do they have a second T? They do have a second T3 air facility in the form of Kavanaugh. And, I mean, it's going to be very beneficial for Team 1, especially for this mid-game with locking out any sort of gunships, any sort of bomber rushes from Team 2. And still, units are in the middle of the space here for Nagel, just causing all kinds of hassle and nonsense and whatnot. We do see that most of them are being dealt with. There are a couple of pillars still remaining. PD being taken offline, Team D being taken offline, T3 land headquarters now being targeted. It will not be destroyed. At least I don't think it will be. It is dropping into almost the yellow here now. If it will actually drop into the yellow and prove me to be right. Nope, there it goes. Just took a little bit. Bombers are inbound trying to, again, just drop those hit points as quickly as possible. The R Scorchers are going to light it on fire. Actually deal a lot of damage to that Harbinger that was just brought onto the field. Its shield is down, but it does help to deal with those incoming units. Unfortunately, the air units are a different story. Will it be enough? I don't think so. Oh, it is just barely. T3 land headquarters is knocked out for Just Q in the north. And now we see T2 coming online for Nagel in the west. He's now fully secured, at least built the mexes over there in that northwestern corner. At this point, I'm going to speed things up just a little bit, kind of starting to be a little bit more lax in terms of the action in the middle. Again, still things staying very stagnant. Team 1's buttons holding up essentially 3 commanders with some assistance from Blissful Noob on the kind of south and mid section. We do see transport with a unit inbound. Looks like it's a Harbinger. It looks like it's receiving a lot of flak. Harbinger does drop, and there are some units nearby. That T2 mix will be taken offline, unfortunately, for buttons. And I don't think that Harbinger is going to live much longer. It will deal a lot of damage to those Team 1 units, though, that are just hanging out. Harbinger trying to, again, just dodge and weave, bob and weave, bob and weave, but unfortunately it is wiped out, and the T2 air flak is not taken offline. So Harbinger for T2 mechs, a little bit in favor of Team 2, but not by much. But of course, all of the mass per second that's being lost for Team 1 adds up very, very quickly. So that's 9 mass a second. And then obviously that's 9 mass a second, and then for however many seconds until that T2 mech is back online, that's going to hurt after a while. A little bit of a rare fight here happens over Saizawan's base. Looks like Team 2 is going to win that fight. I think it's about a dozen or so ASFs more for Team 2 than Team 1. Not really a huge issue there in terms of one way or the other, specifically because, of course, Team 1 has 2 air players for the time being. So able to pump out 2 sets of ASS versus Team 2's 1 base. But that base is being expanded upon as we speak by Pepe's. And we do see another T3 air facility in the form of Willow. So now it's a 2-player air game here so far for both teams. T3 coming online here for the UEF commander of Nagel. And he's fallen back, and he's going for T3. Most likely just going to build some Ravagers and hold position in the northwest. Not really trying to push in as much. He's done a lot of damage, of course, to infrastructure here for Just Q. He has to re-upgrade to a T3 land facility, so it's going to take a little bit to get that. He does have, of course, his Seraphim factory, but he probably wants the more rapid units, the more quicker on-their-feet units of the Harbingers. A couple of gunships inbound here. Some Volthus from Kavanoff. There are some interceptors nearby. That's not going to feel good for those gunships. Going to go after possibly a Team 1 mechs. They will possibly, most likely, probably take that Team 1 mechs offline. Not really a huge issue. It's just 2 mass a second. Of course, it does make a difference, but it's not, 9 or 18 or 27 mass per second kind of scenario. We do see Willow has a nice little Omni online pretty close to the middle, so he's able to see a ton of Team 1 side of the map. Essentially almost the entire little beach position down there and a couple of mexes. Doesn't see Blissful Noob's commander with the Omni, but of course does see it still, because he hasn't gone for stealth at the current moment. And very much a lot of posturing back and forth between these players in the middle. Not really anything going on much there besides just Team 2 Saison getting a little bit more forward. He's kind of sitting now in the middle of that area. But again, another kill box. There's so many kill boxes in this game. There's this one up here. There's another one up here. That one's not really that important. This one's right here. There's, again, another one, another one, another one. There's so many little, tight quarter kill boxes that if players just stack up and hold either, of course, one side or the other, depending on, vectors and all of that, it'd be very beneficial, especially for defending. You want to hold the side that the opponent will go through, and for attacking, you want to hold the side that you don't have to run through anymore, just so that you don't have to, keep running through it. We have a move inbound here from Saizawan down the middle, going for this little T2 mech that's just trying to live. There are a couple of wall sections, but they're not going to live. Something blew up in the sky, and that T2 mech will live to pump more mass another day. Now that a brick has shown up to try to now add its pseudo-wall attributes to that mech's position. Only down by 1 factor, but they have more assist up. This says, or assist, Bill Power says, Sidon. So essentially what he's getting at is, yes, Team 2 has more air factories, but Team 1 has more build power, so they're able to pump out more ASFs as well. So it's essentially a tie game in terms of production. Roughly 20 minutes on the clock here. Team 1, of course, has lost 1 player. That is Active Backlash. First player of the game to be kicked out. It would be one possibly way to say that. Team 2 has had 2 players kicked out. That is Mythologist in the north and Sidon in the southeast, who did get the first kill of the game, but was unable to stay a little bit longer. Not that much longer, I should say. And for Ecos, Team 1, Team 2 staying pretty well even here. 1.1 versus 1.1k mass for each. No advantages one way or the other. In that regard, map advantage. Team 2 a little bit better in the southeast, and they have now claimed at least half of the northwestern corner. And they are sitting in the middle for the most part, so map control definitely favors Team 2. But, of course, map control is only a partial thing in this game. They are down another player, so that's than Team 1, which means that's more mass and less people's coffers, so they're able to, again, divvy that up a little bit more. What is the word I want to use? Less. Divvy it up less. And we see that Willow is at 450, and we have a 300 plus. Actually, two of them, Blissful Noob and Kavanaugh. And again, those ecos staying relatively lockstep with one another. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game. And of course, if you haven't done so already, because why not? Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching, and of course, share this with anyone, everyone, and especially, most especially, your pets. We do see that there's some ASFs starting to brew here for Team 2 and Team 1. They're just waiting for the go-ahead to engage their opponents. We do see some movement in the northwest here for Team 2's Just Q, and we do see some counter posturing here from Team 1, but of course it's mainly T2. There is a couple of T3 units in there, some Perseus. This is mainly T3 with a couple of shields. It just will depend of how long those other Team 1 and T2 units will last for those Perseus to deal most of that damage in that fight. It does look like Team 2 is going to withdraw for the time being, but looks like none of the Perseus were harmed in the making of this cast, at least over here, and those will be shoved away. We do see some units from Buttons moving into this position. Looks like they're trying to cover here for Saison forces. It does leave a nice little hole for Team 2 to exploit in Team 1's defenses for Buttons. Maybe that's the idea. I don't know. Maybe he misclicked. I don't know. But there is, of course, something that is inbound, and that is Willow's experimental. It is the Colossus. Blissful Noob finishes his. It is a crab. So Team 1's Blissful Noob skips the monkey phase and goes straight for the crab. Unfortunately, I don't think it'll get there in time to save these mexes. There's 5 mechs is going to go offline. That's going to really hurt Kavanaugh's eco. And there's no stopping that Colossus. There's not really hardly any. There isn't any T3 forces nearby to assist in defensive operations. We do see some Nathas stacking up here as well, possibly to go after that Colossus. But that Colossus is on a one-way mission. It's on a suicide mission, doing as much damage as it can. I don't think it's going to get out of there anytime soon. We do see that there's a nice little Harbinger running around. It's going to get absolutely, I was going to say, burned to a crisp. And it does actually walk through some fire and some flames, but he'll carry on. Natha's inbound, and then we do see that Colossus is now retreating. So it didn't actually push in. It went for the 5 mexes, actually, and didn't go on a suicide mission. Said, I got my 5 mexes. I'm perfectly happy with that, and then retreats. Definitely a smart play there. Wants to keep all that mass to himself and not gift some mass over to his opponent. And it takes out, of course, 5 T2 mexes, almost fully ringed, so I'll just stay fully ringed so to make the math easier. 9 times 5 is 45 mass per second. And Kavanagh drops below, not below 300, but a little bit above it. So Team 1 and Team 2, again, still staying very lockstep in the mass department. Team D's are trying to deter this incoming firepower. Unfortunately, it's not missiles. It is artillery, and those Team D can't target it. And there goes another, well, I was going to say that's a really buzzkill to lose a buzzkill, but it didn't die, so I can't make the joke, and I won't now because the moment is already passed. How are the air facilities here for both teams? Nice air grid here. I do, of course, like the thin nature of the rectangle. I don't like those thick rectangles. They are too prone to cascading. Same, of course, situation over here. Just a thin rectangle. It could be a nice little diagonal rectangle, whatever, nice whatever shape you want to call that, but no fat rectangles here. No, I mean, you can make a square, but it's still, I like the kind of thin nature of it. But of course, it doesn't have the nice adjacency bonuses. Cut down on the mass and energy requirements, and well, mass and energy requirements because you have more energy, and mass because you're not having to build more facilities to have the same effect, essentially. And one Colossus and one Crab still just kind of hanging out. Looks like the Crab's going to deploy a bunch of these nice little eggs, and the eggs are going to hatch and produce some engineers. And it's a crab egg engineer. Look at that. I didn't even realize they had actual names, or like different names other than just engineer. Oh, I guess the crab egg is the engineer, I should say, not the actual engineer itself. I didn't even know that they like classified it as crab egg and then unit that it's building. I didn't realize that. Let us know if you have a nuke, says Buttons. So maybe Team What have, says Kevin. He has a nuke, and it is loaded. So Team 1 has a nuke. Will they launch it immediately? Will they wait? And will I look at it and watch it open up and fire? Maybe. Would you? No. No. Okay, we'll watch. I'm gonna like scroll away, and then it's gonna be strategic launch attack. And like I just looked away. Team 2 does have some decent SMD coverage. There's one there. There's one there. Heavily being assisted currently, so 2 SMDs over there. Covering most of the eastern side. The middle isn't covered. That's not going to look good. And then the base over here for Just Q and the one over there not covered. There's the nuke, of course. I knew it. I'd scroll away and I'd miss it. Unfortunately for Willow, he's not going to feel good. There are 2 Colossi holding position. Willow's like, get me out of here. I do not want to be destroyed by a nuke. And it's, of course, a shorter travel time than, of course, when it would be in the back line. So he had to move, not necessarily immediately, but will he make... Oh, no, the SMD barely covers those Colossus. Ooh, that was rough. Of course, it wasn't just built, but it just barely came into range. You can see that once it made its turn, that was where it got into range. Definitely unfortunate. And then those Colossus go, we're going underneath SMD coverage because we are not going to have that happen again. Very, very unfortunate for Team 1's Kavanaugh, but of course, he's now kind of shooed away Willow for the time being. Doesn't want to send units out of SMD coverage for now. But that, of course, will then tend to lead the game into more of an artillery, more nukes, game enders kind of style to play. Go from the mid to late, the late to end game phase, and then the end game to infinity and beyond, because sometimes matches just do not stop. There's I think there's the longest video, at least for the FAF cast, I think it's an hour and 50 minutes, and by that everybody and the caster and myself was just kind of just done with the game. I'm like, please somebody win. Just I want this video to end. I definitely had to take a break from casting for the rest of the day and part of the next day just because I was just so drained. It was a very long cast. You finished a YOLO, says Blissful Noob. So there's possible talk of a game editor YOLO, but possibly it's not going to happen. So they're thinking of doing something else. There's the YOLO. It's been the hologram has been placed down. We'll see if it's built or not. That may be the thing that wins Team 1 the game. That may be the thing that kills Team 1. We'll have to see. A bunch of Team 1 bombers and some Corsairs inbound going after that Colossus. And of course it will stoke the fires of an air fight. And there goes the air fight here. It looks like 2 air forces for Team 2 and 1 for Team 1. I was going to say there are some ASFs for Kavanaugh, but those ASFs for Team 1, Sanoman, are retreating. Team 2 gets a wonderful engagement there. And there are some more ASFs that are really late to the party. And they are transferred over immediately to Sanoman. So 1 player, of course, microing all the air forces. 2 players on Team 2 microing the air forces. I definitely favor Team 1's approach to that, just because it's easier to get the turns and all that stuff in, rather than trying to predict what the other teammate's going to do, essentially in the moment. Of course, it's always nice to have your own ASFs as a nice little backup, but for the most part, the majority of the Air Force should be controlled by 1 player. Again, my opinion, take it with a grain of salt, that sort of thing. We do see just more military buildup. Military-industrial complex is in full swing for the UEF faction. If it was going to be any faction, it's going to be them. And that Colossus is absolutely destroying some Perseus. They're trying to get underneath some shield and Ravager fire coverage. Shield on board that commander as well as T3 and gun. This is going to be a little bit chewy for that Colossus to chew through. And I thought I heard a strat bomber somewhere. I don't see it. But I heard it again. I heard that whistle. I don't know where. Oh, it looks like those are just spy planes, so no issue there. I'm trying to look for like 1,000 wreck or something, but I don't see much. I thought I hear it, but maybe not. Maybe that's something else. Transports running around here to the southeast, just causing some havoc down there, because why not? T1 bombers landing some shots against these Harmagers over here, and that Colossus does retreat. So Team 2 being very, very cautious with their experimentals, not letting them die unless they do massive damage. not letting them be killed just haphazardly. They're like, if we're going to use it, we're going to use it to great effect. And both Just Q and Willow have demonstrated that. So great use of experimentals. They do some damage and then they leave. Yeah, they might take some damage in return, but at least the mass for that unit is in their side of the map, not the opponent's side of the map. We do see a chicken and crab are now stacking up against the now crab and 2 colossi from Team 2. So a 3-2 advantage for Team 2 in that regard. Oh, that was the wrong button, and I knew I pressed it when it just jittered over. That's hate. Sometimes I click my scroll wheel. Sometimes like I hit it to the left or the right, and it moves over to the last notification or whatever. YOLO. Yolana Oss at 20%. That's actually a pretty quick. Well, it's not 20%. Because let's see, 2,000 out of 1,200 would be 1/6, so it'd be 16%. 20% would be. Ooh, shoot. Would that be? It wouldn't be 20. Would it be 20? Well, because 2,500 would be 12,500. So essentially almost 2,500 would be 20%. Wait. Yeah, 2,500 times. Yeah. Trying to do math in my head while casting is not the best thing to do. Sometimes we do see again missiles or artillery landing in from Team 2. Looks like that is a missile inbound, looking like it's going to go after some T3 AA defenses. Just taking out some Myrmidons, because why not? Just kind of slowly eat away. That TMD misses, because that missile barely got into his range when it landed on its target. And just kind of slowly eating away at Team 1's defenses on that front line. I do see an artillery shot inbound, though, from Team 2. That is an emissary from Willow. Love to see him. Love to see those artillery emplacements. How is that YOLO going? Well, it's now in the yellow, so now it's over 25%. So again, like I said, will that be the thing that wins Team 1 the game, or will it be the thing that costs them the game? We'll see if that is the case or not. More missiles inbound. I think that's a missile. It's flying. I was going to say it's flying too slowly, so it is a missile. And again, they're just kind of sniping away at the AA defenses, just slowly eroding Team 2's frontline defenses in that regard, allowing, of course, more spy planes, more ASF, more the everything inbound, and, of course, more air scouts as well. And you see a lot of spy planes coming up the western edge and then just going to cut a hard right to get as much use out of them as possible. Lots of units being shoveled over here to the western. Now we see that Colossus has a friend. It mitosis itself. I think that's a word. And now it has grown a duplicate. It's cloned itself. Looks like the emissary is firing on the YOLO. Based on the trajectory, yeah, it looks like it's firing on the YOLO. So as long as Team 1 can keep that YOLO shielded, which they are currently doing, I might add, and there's a lot of shielding. Ooh, they might need more than that as well. Of course, there's always more shielding to be had in this game. We do see a nice breakthrough force here from Team 2, Sizel, and he has a Colossus over here. There's a Colossus over here. There's a Colossus over there. There's a bunch of T3, T2 units over here. Crab blocking that hole. 2 Fat Boys over here for Team 1 and another Crab. Lots of experimentals online for Team 1. They've been keeping them in reserve for the time being. For a moment just like this, in the northwest, there's a Fat Boy, decent amount of PD, and Nagel building more artillery. The Fat Boy and all of the Percys are retreating, moving in to intercept this Colossus. His base is not going to feel good here pretty shortly, but it will be able to intercept that Colossus. Will it be worth it to kill off all those units and all of those mexes? Maybe, maybe not. But it'll at least do some damage to Team 1 at a minimum. And that emissary just punching and punching and punching at that YOLO. And that YOLO has now actually stopped construction efforts, so it's really going to take even longer for it to finish. But of course, will it finish in time or not? Artillery has been started here for Team 2's regardless of play of Pepe's as well, getting some hives to assist with either shielding or construction or both. T3 land headquarters taken offline. Strat bombers inbound to assist with taking out the hit points. Multiple T3 mechs is taken offline. And most of those T3 units are now dealt with. But look at this. All of these units pulled over here. Counterattack emerging here in the middle here for Team 1. The Colossus is going to split the 2 crabs up. Well, at least they kind of split themselves up, to be fair. But this crab not able to fire because of this mountainside hill thingamajiggy in the way. And that crab is going to kill one of those Colossi off, do a little bit of AoE damage due to the crash damage on possibly that nice little Ascendant. There it goes, and it does grab that Harbinger, I believe. But now the crab has to go around. That's precious time. It would have definitely saved that that crab brother, but unfortunately the environment is not friendly to Team 1 in that regard. YOLO still online, now has a ton of shielding, still has more shielding, and is still building more shielding, and it is not going to stop. Nuke, how is it doing? It's now loaded now. Team 1 has a new nuke ready to go. What will they use it for? Of course, SMD will cover this position. There's 2 Colossi in a crab holding position, and a lots of bombers. Looks like the crab will possibly die to that Colossus. Crash damage won't be enough to kill the Colossus, but at a bare minimum, he's at least killed off an experimental for Team 1. Of course, this crab will intercept that Colossus, and that'll be a dead Colossus here very, very shortly. And in the aftermath of that pullback here, Team 2 tries to take advantage, takes out most of the defenses, but of course, there's a FAF point, a bunch of Percy's inbound. So that second Colossus is not long for this world. It's going to do as much damage as possible, but like I said, it is a DOA Colossus. Multiple artillery, of course, now raining in from Willow. Third one coming online for him. And those are emissaries. They are not going to be very, very friendly. It looks like AoE damage to that YOLO. It doesn't destroy it entirely because of that, because of the pigeon right here. More and more and more and more and more shielding. Got to finish that one. You get no. You got to finish this one. This one right there. It's in the it's almost in the green. It's right there. It'll finish sooner. But it looks like Kavanaugh having some struggles with keeping his shields online. Needs to get more engineers on site. More shielding. Oh, I'll say it one more time. More shielding from the artillery from Team 2. Disruptor online. So now we have 3 artillery emplacements online, soon to be 4. 4 artillery. Starting to be kind of critical mass of artillery. Team 2, of course. I mean, the YOLO isn't down. You can see the bar is half done. But of course, the hit point's not feeling well. Rebuilding says sit in. And Team 1 will lose Blissful Noob. And he's kind of just going to say, I'm done with the match. And I was watching him AFK. Says sit in, so there's conversation in all chat. So again, it was one of those things, if Kavanaugh was able to pull off the YOLO, it would have been the thing that possibly won Team 1 the game. But even so, even if he finishes the YOLO now, Team 2 has known about it for a while. We have multiple SMDs loaded with at least 2, 3, 4 anti-nuke missiles, and even if it was finished, that should give enough time to Team 2 build even more SMDs. So maybe even if the YOLO even finishes, it wouldn't even matter at that point. We have some Nothas going after some SMD coverage, but ASFs intercept those very easily and deny that attack. Looks like some artillery shells landing at that SMD down there. Nuke is still loaded, and more shielding popping up line, but I mean, it's on and off, on and off, on and off. It's only a matter of time. Luckily for Team 1, the artillery from the Ricardo player Pepes is targeting button space. If it was targeting that YOLO, it would be a dead YOLO for sure. This emissary almost done with that one being under control of Willow. It's gonna be a dead YOLO. There's not really any hope for that thing. More shielding trying to be built. Luckily, some shots missing shielding, but it's just really, really detrimental here for Team 1 if that thing does not get off the ground. 38 minutes on the clock here. It's started probably 10 minutes ago, and it's roughly half done. Of course, heavily damaged even if it does finish, but it just needs enough shielding to protect itself against 4 artillery pieces, plus possibly maybe a 5th or 6th or something. Oh, yep, no, there's going to be a 5th right there. Look at that. So Team 2, again, just investing in long-range warfare. We have the nuke half-loaded for another one. Land fights kind of dying down a lot, especially in the middle. The Northwest still has some land fighting going on, but it's not really looking likely that either team will gain some sort of advantage unless you have 3 experimentals over here. Color me wrong there. Duke very far forward. That's definitely ambitious. Would not have put that there. Would have put that probably right here or all the way back here or something. Emissaries still cannot pierce the shielding. They did some damage to that YOLO, but look at the shielding on this thing. It is not going anywhere. Oh, man. It's just on, off, on, off. One Corsair hanging out saying, hey, I'm going to just hide underneath your shielding. I was going to say all the shielding pops offline, but now we see even more engineers. So we have some engineers building the YOLO, some engineers trying to assist the shielding, and of course build more. And it's just not looking good. Team 2 has a... Oh, no, we have another artillery. No, that's just the fourth one. Is there another artillery somewhere that I just missed? Yeah, there's another artillery. Team 2's Just Q builds a Hovatham T3 artillery. We have 6 soon-to-be artilleries online for Team 2. Technically, it's at 5.5. Team 1 builds their own T3 artillery. What's where was building that? Who was building that? I don't see it. Let me slow it down just a little bit so I don't miss anything currently. Oh, it's over here. There's a Duke. All 4 T3 artilleries are in the game. We have a Duke, we have a Hovatham, we have a Disruptor, soon to be 2, and 3 emissaries. Explosions happening. Looks like that was a SACU. Tons of strap bombers over here for Team 1's air player. Tons of strap bombers. We have a couple of flyovers from Pepe's, but that doesn't go well. Nago almost died and was almost in range of that ion storm. His Duke that he was building is denied, but look at this. 1, 2, 3 Colossi, a chicken wreck. Tons of mass here for Team 1 to scoop up. That was a very close death. Apologies for missing out. Focused on other things possibly that weren't important. In the middle, 3 crabs and a FAF boy pushing in. Colossus gonna retreat a little bit and get out of that artillery range, but still, it's a long trek to the rear of Team 2's base. The main target, of course, is going to be the group of artillery over here. And look at this, SMD, 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 and a bunch of shielding. So guarding against not only some artillery shots and some YOLO shots. The Nuke's still online. The YOLO's still online, still trying to be built. It is going to finish. But it is going to finish, I believe, unless all of the artillery just targets it for a brief moment and wipes it off the face of the planet. Is there another artillery being built up here? Yes, there is. It's almost in the green. This Disruptor almost in the green. So soon to be 2, 4, 7, 8. There's an emissary over here. 8 artillery pieces soon to be online. I mean, that's a lot of shots. That's a lot of shots. That's not... Ugh, that is not going to look good. Will the YOLO even finish? The YOLO does finish, but will it even matter? Shields pop on and offline. All already on YOLO. YOLO is done, says Sidon. The man in the sky being like, target this location. I want all of our guns pointed at that man. Or however the line goes from that one movie that... was not great, and the other sequel to that was also not great. But that is not going to look good for that thing. Not going to look good. Look at this, just 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that artillery spread. There's definitely an amount of shielding that probably could keep this position online, but you'd need so many engineers and so many, emitters of shields. There's only one actually there's 2 artillery pieces going across the map. There's another Duke over here that just finished off. So 2 versus 8. 3, sorry, yeah, because there's 1 there, 4 there, 5, 6, 7, 8 artillery pieces online for Team 2. Team 1 has 2. Team 1 is targeting the SMDs for Team 2, and Team 2 is targeting the big, giant YOLO experimental nuke launcher nonsense. Looks like some of the shielding starting to break. Some of the emitters coming offline. More and more shields, more and more shields, more and more shields. On, off, on, off. And look at all that mass being donated. Nuke launches. There goes the YOLO. This one should launch as well, because why not? There's 2 loaded in this one. Why not? Oh, some emitters come offline. More emitters come offline. That's not good. And engineers dying as well. Oh, maybe that'll be the only YOLO that it fires, a YOLO missile that it fires. Ooh. Of course, the nuke will be denied unless it goes over here and doesn't get shot down, which it will. There's 5 in this nice little silo over here, so no issues there. And still the YOLO survives. Barely, but barely. Nuke firing over here. Should have been firing that a while. Actually, probably should have just kept all that mass. And there it goes. All the shields go down. The YOLO goes down. And there goes the explosion. That's a little pulse wave there. Yay. Zidane goes, yay. 44 minutes on the clock. Team 2 now has, of course, all of their artillery pieces online. I think that's all of them. There's another one being built because why not? So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 possibles. Another nuke launching. This nuke does get taken out. Or sorry, this nuke doesn't get taken out. Takes out the SMD. The SMD's dead anyways. Team 1 still has 2 artillery pieces, but again, 2 versus 8. I wonder who's going to win that fight. You can just see the yellow dots just trace one target. It's like a point-click adventure game with all those artillery. Sano, the YOLO caused us to lose, says Blissful Noob. I mean, I wouldn't say that entirely. It definitely focused a lot of resources from one player. But I wouldn't say it's the only thing. There goes that artillery. This one's about to go down. It definitely, to be fair, helped focus a lot of Team 2's artillery attention. Not all of it, but a lot of it was focused on the YOLO. So it's like a nice little target, like, hey, come target me, please. I'm Mr. Mises, look at me, kind of thing. There's only so much of that the YOLO could take for the shielding specifically, so eventually it would crack, but it did provide a nice bullet sponge. He said he didn't know what to do and maybe YOLO, but all it needed to do was play the game. I wouldn't say that entirely. I mean, Team 2 still had a lot of land experimentals online as well, and a lot of air, so it's not just a clean cut, they would have won the game if he played the game kind of statement. I wouldn't agree with that. Calm Now says Pepe's Foxtrot is what's that's named. It did kill off 39,000 mass. I think instead of funneling mass into the nuke and into the YOLO, he should have just stopped. Maybe put most of his engineers on that, a little bit of engineers on that. Nuke just to have something assisting loading. Another nuke launches, of course. It's going to land here. It looks like he hasn't changed his target priorities. There goes Team 1's Kabanoff. There goes Team 1's Nagel. It is now a 4v2 in favor of Team 2. And that was not by PGen. That was by Control K. It was lucky for us. My team had started already. Yeah, exactly. Team 2 had already started artillery. So that definitely helps. But look at all those shots. Buttons, Control Ks, leaving Sanoman, the last remaining player on Team 1. He has some strats. He's had some strats for a while. Probably not enough to really crack any shielding, but it's nice to have. And then he just Control Ks everything and calls it a day. And Team 2 wins the game at 46 minutes and 11 seconds. MVP for this game. I mean, there isn't, again, like a standout-ish player. Willow did, of course, a nice job going for artillery early. It put the pressure on the YOLO. He built another one because why not? He just finished it too, so he had 4. There's another one here, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, soon to be 11 artillery pieces for one team. Team 1 had 2 at some point. That is rough. Hey, but like I said, for MVP, Willow did a very good job. Sidon did a very good job as well. Even though he died early, he helped his team out a lot, being like, hey, there's a YOLO here. Hey, there's a thing here. Hey, you should look at this. Hey, you should do that. And helping dealing with that FAF head / subcom brain nonsense. And then kind of the Northwest just became to sit there in their little trenches and throw pot shots at one another kind of thing. There was that one breakthrough attack here from Saison. It only got to this base, took some of it out. It eventually did get rebuilt, but it did, of course, delay some mass income for Team 1. But again, the game was essentially both teams defended for the most part, and Team 2 was just quicker on the draw to get artillery online, because not only did they get artillery and was able to pressure Team 1, of course, reacting to that, build shields and more shields to cover all their stuff. Therefore, it gives Team 2 more time to build more artillery, and essentially this infinite loop of build artillery, force the opponent to build shields. They build more shields, not focusing on counter artillery. You build more artillery, and it's just kind of the same cycle of events. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with Sanoman's opinion of had Kamenov gone for something else, maybe they would have won the game. I can't say outright they would have won because infinite possibilities and that sort of thing. But definitely, like I said, even if the YOLO was, it was finished, it did get a YOLO nuke off. There was still so much FSD coverage here for Willow and for Saison, so they were prepared for it even before the thing finished. So it would have been a tall order to really chew through all that SMD coverage, and even maybe didn't even chew through it. But again, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching to the end of the video. And I'll see all of you in the next one.